Hi, I'm here with Meghana Joshi. Meghana and I have, we met recently after kind of communicating online, and also I've done a couple things for her, but I up in Orange County, but I've never been able to, I never actually met. But she's given me a lot of opportunities to talk about architecture for her daughter's school, and then also for the Women in Architecture at the AIA office in Orange County. So Meghana is an associate at WHA Incorporated. Meghana Joshi specializes in senior and affordable housing solutions. Her projects have been honored with multiple SAGE Gold, PCBC Gold Nugget, SoCal, Argentum, and NAHB awards. She received 2018 AIA California's Associate Award and Presidential Citation honoring her commitment to the profession. At AIA Orange County, she is the founder chair of Women in Architecture Committee and Director of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. Under Project Amplify that she founded, she amplifies and celebrates voices and works of minority architects throughout the world in diverse projects. Furthering her passion for life safety and architecture, Meghana has invented an artificial intelligence-powered smart device. She spoke at 2019 AECNext SPAR 3D Conference and A19 Conference on enhancing life and safety through artificial intelligence. Meghana's professional contributions were honored at Say It Loud exhibit at A19 Conference, and she is one of the inspiring moms of 2019 for OC Register. Welcome, Meghana, and how are you this morning?
Doing good. Thank you for having me, Michelle. So glad we finally met at A19. It's been a long time. We've been communicating, and it's good to put a face to the voice. And I love how you manage your work and life. And I know there's a lot going on both fronts. And thank you for doing this. This is beyond work and life, but you are inspiring a lot of people with the podcast. Thank you for doing this.
Oh, thank you, Meghana. Thank you. So what are your first recollections of experiencing architecture?
My first recollections would be when I was a kid. I grew up in India, and I grew up in a place called Bijapur. It's very famous for its Bahmani architecture, which is Muslim-inspired architecture. And we had a lot of mosques and a lot of temples, Buddhist monasteries, everything in one place. So even if I just went out to play, it was in the garden of some historical significant building. So architecture was all around me while growing up. I used to see all these fractals on the wall and look at the trigonometry and how they built things. I didn't know what exactly it was, but it was very attractive to me. I just wanted to grow up and be someone who did something like that.
It's interesting. So fractals, huh?
Yes. Indian temples especially have fractals incorporated in them.
Okay.
If you look at the walls, it's just a repetitive stuff, and it's very interesting to watch mathematics, play in those buildings.
Oh yeah. What are 3 classic buildings that you like and why?
Okay, my first favorite is the Salk Institute. It's simplistic in design, and the attention to detail just appeals to me. I have this wish of getting my bridal photo shoot done at Salk during sunset one day. Hopefully it will happen.
No, I went to a wedding there.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they're no longer married, but I did go there were 2 architects.
That's one building that just wants me to wear my bridal clothes and get my pictures taken.
Well, and you're still married. And you're still married to them. Yes.
And the second building is, it's a building in Bijapur where I grew up. It's called Ibrahim Roza. And it's one of those buildings where everything is done so intricately. Like if you look at the walls, they have carved all these, calligraphic things. And then even on the floor, there are designs and motifs everywhere. There is a legend that goes that Taj Mahal was actually inspired by Ibrahim Roza. They used all local materials, native landscaping, and I think so far it's the best historic building I've seen in my life. It was, I think, built somewhere around the 1600s, and it's still standing.
Okay. Yeah.
And my third favorite is Hearst Castle. Not really for the building, but it's the fact that a woman in architecture led that building, led the design and construction. And this was in an era where, you know, women were just supposed to play a second fiddle to a star architect. And Julia Morgan went out there, you know, did everything by herself. That's very inspiring to me. Every time I see Hearst Castle, I'm like, yeah, we can do it. We just need to continue believing in ourselves.
Yeah, I mean that is pretty incredible, and Mandy and I were kind of talking, and I talked about with Britt too, where that's one of the for the kids in public school, that's one of the arts requirements is architecture, and they have to know about Julia Morgan. Mm-hmm. That's like the main architect that they have to know about. And I think that that's a great accomplishment, that, it's something that, that the architect that they have to know about is a woman, which I think is incredible. And so that was the inspiration for the Taj Mahal. I had to do, I would, for extra credit, I would always draw things for my English class or whatever class, because sometimes I didn't do very well at tests. People laugh because, I help to write the architecture exam for the state now, and they're always asking me, oh, are you good at tests? And I'm like, no, I'm not good at tests at all. That's why I feel like
you're going to make it easier now.
Yeah, exactly. But I did, because I just thought that was such an incredibly romantic story. I mean, kind of tragic, but I mean, still very romantic. And I just always have thought that was just amazing. And, the black and the white opposite each other. And I mean, I don't know. I just think that it's a great concept. It's a romantic story. And, it's just right. It's like the all-encompassing love that, love of the building, love of people. So what do you like about being an associate AIA, and what about the ARE process?
I think being an associate AIA with the AIA Orange County gives me an opportunity to, kind of make a difference in the community, stay involved. I think without AIA, I wouldn't get that opportunity. I did start the Women in Architecture Committee, and I'm heading their efforts towards equity, diversity, and inclusion. Mm-hmm. I think that's the biggest opportunity I got from AIA, and it really, helps me to know that I'm making a difference, helping people connect. And sometimes I think when women like me, women of color, see me be in the board of directors and be involved in the AIA, they think that this is no longer a place for, if you're just white and male, it's for everyone. Mm-hmm. So being a diverse person myself, I bring diversity to the board in both ways.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I'm still en route licensure. I was supposed to be done 3 years ago. I had one test remaining, but then there are things beyond work, life, and parenting that happen. And, I'm back to the drawing board now. But let's see how it goes this time. I'm supposed to start in August with Michael Ruzicka's boot camp. So,
you are? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Taking a different approach this time. It's not going to be all on me. I'm going to be held accountable by a third person. So let's see how that journey goes. I'll keep you guys updated.
Does he hold you? Does he hold you accountable? I don't know that much about it.
I have no idea, actually. I haven't done the orientation yet, but I do know that I'm supposed to start in August. And I do follow posts about his boot camp on social media, and everybody has good things to say. And most of them have passed. So I'm hoping it works out for me also.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I think it will. Sometimes there's just, I mean, I think I've written about this too in my ARE blog on my you know, on my ARE post when we had to post about the ARE in our blogs, but with hashtag Architalks. But you know, I took them. I mean, I had to do them back when they only offered them once a year. So everybody kind of, you know, like studied, and you were either studying with other people or studying, you know, by yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
my husband and I don't know whether I don't know whether we were married then or not. I don't think we were. I don't think we were married at that point. Yeah. But you know, I took them all, and then I passed half of them, and then then the next year I took the rest of them, and I think I passed like maybe another 3, and I think the last 2 were site design and general structures.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started offering site design. For some reason, a lot of people weren't passing site design. So they offered site design. They decided to do it twice a year. And I think I actually took a seminar on site design, and then I passed it. And then I had taken general structures, I think either 2 or 3 times. It might have been 3 times. I don't know. I can't remember now. But I was working for a structural engineer, and the guys there were like, the guys were like, you know, how much are you like, you know, how much are you failing by, right? Basically, how much are you failing by? And I was really only a few points off, and
Uh-huh.
so this guy's like, you know, you only have to study that much more. In order to pass it, right? Because a pass is a pass, you know.
Yeah.
So he goes, why don't you just let me you know, help you study? And you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the thing with me, is I didn't want anybody to help me. I mean, that's really what the problem was. You know, it's like I didn't want to go through the tutoring process. I didn't want to do, you know, it's like, it's so you know, I just finally just said, okay, like this is what I need to do in order to pass. And you know, and I really only studied with them like a few times, and then I took it and I passed, you know.
So it's
and
good.
then yeah, so I mean,
It worked out.
you know, you just go, sometimes you just have to do it and just, you know, go through and
try a different approach and see if it works.
yeah. Okay, and then so what was your session about at A19, and how was the experience of presenting?
It was an amazing experience. I talked about enhancing life and safety using artificial intelligence. It was a 2-part seminar, I would say. At first, my husband talked, and he kind of made everybody familiar with the technology part and how we can, you know, use various technologies into what we do. And then the second part, I talked about how we can use that specifically in fire safety and in school safety. And I talked about why I wanted to do this. And I think I kind of shared that in my blog also. So 2 years ago, my daughter was a sophomore. I think it was 3 years almost now. And, you know, after school, it was just regular day. And she comes home, and suddenly there is a text saying somebody at school got arrested. And at first we are like, you know, kids with pot these days, maybe somebody got busted.
Yeah.
It wasn't so. They actually found weapons, and there were 2 kids who were planning Columbine-style attack on the school, and credible evidence, everything. So, you know, the kids were taken away, and my daughter was showing me the pictures of these kids, just normal kids, you know, taking pictures in front of Santa Monica Pier, going to Disney. You know, like, you know, if these kids are capable of doing something like this, we need to kind of work on our safety systems here. Whatever we have, it's not working out. And if you see, gun control is great. I'm all for gun control. But then if you see, most of the incidents that happened with guns that were stolen, smuggled, or illegally bought. And people who use them had no place using them. Like, you know, it was not their right to use them. So my husband and I got talking, and he said, you know, if we come up with different kind of designs and use, not just architecture, but use artificial intelligence and put the solutions together, we can actually make something. So we started working on that, and then I work on senior living also. And during that time, the Paradise Fire happened, and seniors were stranded in a building, no one to help them. And I think luckily they were only saved because one of the grandkids knew that his grandfather was there, and he alerted the authorities. So at that time, I was like, we have to really do something that, enhances all this, whatever we have right now. So we started working on a prototype, and we did actually get it built, and we unveiled it at A19 also.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so right now we are still working on the prototype and kind of enhancing it and trying to get investors. So all that is going on the side while we continue our day jobs. But the session was a great experience, and it was so nice to meet people afterwards. A lot of them emailed me and said that, really connected with them, and this is something they worry about also. I think as parents, we worry more because we have children who are actually going to school, but even for others, it's scary. If people can do it at schools, they can do it at offices, they can do it at public gatherings. It's everywhere, right? It's a scare for everyone.
Yeah.
So that's my session. We talked about all that, and we unveiled our product. We kind of showed how it works, and it was nice. Session was full, which was surprising to me. Because I didn't expect that. It was 300 plus people, and I thought, okay, if it's a 300 people class, maybe 60, 70 will show up. But no, it was a full session, and they actually put a board outside saying session full, and didn't let anybody in and walk in. So that was kind of ego boosting.
That's really
like, yeah, that's good.
Well, it's interesting because it didn't seem like that many people were saying that they were going to go to, to Vegas for it, but it seemed like all of the sessions were full, and they were in really big rooms.
Yeah.
It wasn't like one where, where there was a small room and there was, and it was full. There were these huge banquet rooms and they were totally full. Yeah.
Yeah. 200 plus, and they were full. So that was nice. And mine especially was at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I thought a lot of people partied the night before. They're not going to show up.
I know. Some people are, if you're from back east, it's easy to, right? Because then you're already 3 hours ahead. Us going back there is like really bad. Yeah. But I think it's really, I think some people, they just don't, people that, if they don't have their kids in school, I don't know whether they're kind of separated from it, or they have this idea of like how it was when they went to school, even though they'll be like in their 60s, and they'll still be thinking of school as when they were in their 60s, or they'll still be thinking of like schools when their kids were in school, and it's not like that anymore. I was on this Parks and Recs Foundation board, and we were doing different parks, and then we were talking about art in the schools, and how there aren't any, how there isn't really any art in the public school anymore. It's just not, they have to incorporate it in, but you don't have like an art class or a music class. And again and again, people would say like, oh, well, they have art class. And it's like, no, they don't. We don't have, no, we don't have art class and music class. There have been all these other things as far as like, my big thing with, the thing that I really don't like about Israel is when they double dose, right? A kid is doing like poorly at something, so they'll double dose them in that thing, right? So it's like, they've got math, and then, it's like, okay, you're not doing well in math, and now we're going to make you go to 2 math classes.
It's not going to work. Maybe math is not their thing. Try something else.
Yeah. Where if you said like, here, you know what, why don't you come up with a computer app for, right, come up with an app for something, and then they might be able to do it immediately, and they're still using those skills that you would need instead of like the pure math of doing an equation or something, right? They're like actually making something. So you're making something instead of it. And the
Yeah.
school safety, I mean, when you go to some of these meetings, you know, the PTA meetings, you know, I mean, that's kind of like the people's main concern is, you know, I mean, safety is like their number one concern.
Yeah.
And I think that people don't, I mean, they don't realize that, you know, kids, I mean, my kids have been having these drills since, you know, I mean, my kids are 18, you know, soon to be 21 and 25, you know, and they've been having these drills since they were little kids. And I don't think people realize like what that, and, you know, when we first, you know, school shooting, when we first moved down here in 99, you know, there was a school shooting that was in it. So it's been, you know, it's been a, you know, the drills have been happening for years and years. So I'm, you know, I'm thankful that, you know, that you came up with this app, and I'll put a link to the app and
yeah, I'll give you the website link.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
And what would you kind of say about people that want to do a session? Because I know they open up the sessions, but what are your tips for getting it, you know, for getting accepted?
Practice. Getting accepted, I think you just need to have a good idea. I used to be a peer reviewer on this one too. So if you read the rubric, read the requirements really well, and try to hit all the points on the requirements, because a lot of applications that I saw didn't really go through all that. They would just, you know, give an abstract that didn't answer the questions. So if you really read the questions and answers them, that's really helpful. Your reviewer can quickly go through them and know what you want to do in the session. That's one thing. And as for the session practice itself, you have to practice. What I did was we presented at AIA Orange County first, and I didn't advertise it so that, you know, not many people showed up.
You didn't have 300 people show up for that.
So, yeah, we don't want that. So we had around 35 to 40 people show up, and I had two of my friends come in just for, you know, support in case people just wanted to eat me alive. They were there to save me. But that went well. But then, you know, people asked a few questions after the presentation, and that kind of led to us adding a few more slides, because we were like, yes, people want to know about this, this, and this also. So that was the first one. And then I talked at AECNext seminar. So that was a condensed version of the session where only I talked, and I talked only for 20 minutes. So even there, the same thing. I used the slides, I used my you know, speaking points, and just led with what people want to hear more. And whatever we gave at A19 was taking all these experiences in and just solidifying it into a better session. I'm sure if we give another session, it's going to have all the A19 questions answered in that already.
Well, people will always come up with another question.
Yeah.
So, and then also about our kids at A19. So you brought your kids, right? Which our kids are older, of course. They're not toddlers, but you know, but you brought your kids to A19. I brought my kids because they wanted to go to Vegas. They had never been to Vegas before. So, so what was your experience?
It was good. My kids are 18 and 12, so I had two teenagers. And the first day, actually, my husband was supposed to be with us, and I was supposed to go to the voting because I was a delegate for national board. And things happened, and he couldn't drive with us. He was coming in later, so I ended up taking them to the elections. Like they attended all the speeches, and they really loved Bill Bates, Peter Exley, and Brett. And it was fun. I thought they would be bored. I told them, you can sit in the back and you can be on the phone. I don't mind. They're like, no, this was interesting. It was so much fun, you know, listening to them talk about what they want to do with architecture and the profession. And it was really different from, you know, what we usually do. So they liked it. And the next morning was, of course, our session. They came to our session. They sat down and attended it. After that, we kind of took them out and let them have their own time also, where they have
Mhm.
fun, not just hang around with
No, I
parents.
think that's
Yeah.
that's definitely important.
Yeah, and next day we brought them again, and this time we went to the exhibition floor, which they loved,
Mhm.
and they went to almost every booth out there, asked questions, and they wanted to know about the products, and just in general, they were impressed, and they loved all the freebies.
Uh-huh.
And
Oh
there
yes,
was this
yeah, my
company
kids too. Yeah.
giving out those yellow buckets, and my younger one was
You know
like,
what? I wanted one of those, but I didn't want to carry it around all day long. And then I forgot to get one the next day. But I totally
oh.
wanted one of those yellow buckets, and I
Yeah,
posted
my
it in the last
daughter got
blog.
it. She was
Yeah.
like, it was her mission to get that yellow bucket. She got it. I don't know what she's going to use it for. We still have it in our garage, but we got the yellow bucket.
I know.
And they really love that bear painting thing, therapeutic painting. They
Oh
had
yeah,
all the paints and
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then there
No,
was
my
the
kids did that too.
Sherwin-Williams with that Find Your Color band.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, my kid. Yeah, they
They
did
loved
that
all
too.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they got a lot of mugs and stuff. Yeah, freebies. They were
Mhm.
very attracted to freebies. So they had fun. And I think the only time they didn't want to hang out with us was during the practice innovation lab. But then, since both my husband and I were going to pitch our idea there,
Mhm.
last 2 hours they had to be there.
Okay.
I didn't want to leave them in the hotel just by themselves. So they came in, and I told them, for all the times I came to your taekwondo practices, stayed at your concerts, this is payback time.
Yeah. I know.
So
I told my
yeah.
kids that they could go wherever, because my daughter, she's going to be 25, in a couple days
Uh-huh.
now. And, and then the other one was 21. And then our youngest, I mean, he's still 18,
Yeah.
right? So he's still legal, and I told them like, oh, you can go wherever you want to. I mean, you can come to the expo, but they were at the expo floor, like, like
Uh-huh.
all pretty much all 3 days. I don't know whether they went, but I don't think they went on Saturday, but
Uh-huh.
we went to do some other things, and I'm putting that in the one blog. We went to the Neon Museum and
Uh-huh. I
which
saw those pictures. That's
was fun. Yeah,
yeah, that looks
yeah.
fun. Next time
So
I'll go there.
yeah, no, it was. I mean, it was, and then
Yeah.
and I didn't realize it was a Paul Williams building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and they were having a bunch of weddings there, so we went on a Saturday. So everybody else has these pictures, they went in the morning, and so I have to
Uh-huh.
use other people's, like I have to use Cormac's pictures and Danny's pictures of that, because they got good pictures in the morning without anybody else. Ours are like,
Uh-huh.
there were all these people
Wedding people.
lined up to go in for the wedding. And so we didn't get any shots of the exterior,
Uh-huh.
the entry piece, like without anybody in front of it, because there were all these people
Uh-huh.
that were lined up waiting to go in for their wedding. Yeah, so that was fun. And did your kids do the brick? Did they design a brick or something? Griffin was doing a brick for a long
No, I
time.
don't think they did it.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, but they did. And then they were just hanging out in the business lounge and stuff. And, I mean,
Uh-huh.
I think it's great. I mean, I can remember when we went to the LA one, and I think I've put like some, I've like commented on different social media about how things have changed as far as being able to bring your kids places. I mean, when I went to LA, we went to LA probably, I think the kids were like 3, 5, and 9 or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
they weren't allowed onto the expo floor. Like you couldn't have you couldn't have anybody that was under 16, I think,
Okay.
on the expo floor. And then when we went to the childcare, it was like in one little room, like upstairs, and with no windows or anything. And it was just a bunch of kids in there, and they were charging like $25 a kid or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And this
Well,
was,
I hope they do something for the kids when they do it next year in LA, Just have like a kids camp while, parents attend sessions and stuff. And especially for this I don't know, 10 to 18 group. There is a lot of stuff
Yeah.
they can do in LA and learn about architecture.
Yeah.
So that will be a great opportunity to, showcase architecture to them.
Yeah.
Get them familiar with the terms. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think, I don't know. I mean, maybe our older kids can like help coordinate something with
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. Yeah. During that time, because I know all the time they're always saying, well, we don't have anybody to do, or, it's like an insurance thing. There's always like some excuse that, we're like, this is like $25 a kid, but it was only for a couple hours. And I hadn't signed up for any of the sessions. So I was like, I'm not going to pay $75 to go into the expo. I mean, I'm not going to pay somebody for, with the kids for 75, and of course the kids were like, I don't want to go in there.
Yeah, no windows. It's not happening.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to go
there. Yeah. I think they should really work on the childcare program this time, because being a parent shouldn't limit you from attending A20.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. And I know, I mean, I saw some people with like really little kids on it, and I thought like, gosh, that's great. Or, babies and, I mean, we really have to be open to, to inviting people, because I mean, that's kind of the main reason why some people don't want to do it. It's like they like, well, I don't have anybody to watch my kids, or I don't want to be away from my kids for the weekend because I'm working all through the week, so I can't see them. So it's like, we want to bring them with us or something, right?
Yeah, I think for us moms, it's so hard to make that decision to take 4 days off and just go by ourselves with our kids, family, and attend the seminars. If they can make something like that, then it's a family vacation with architecture conference. So everybody will be willing to do that.
Yeah. Sounds like
they should work on that. Yeah.
Okay, so what would you like to say about the future of architecture?
Okay, future is inclusive, future is diverse, future is technology. I'm a colored woman, so I know all about glass ceilings, diversity, and inclusion. They're not just buzzwords for me. That's my everyday experience. But I think we still need to think beyond gender and color when we apply these words. There are a lot of invisible disabilities, and the way we design and design our buildings, they are not really addressing the invisible disabilities. Only 74% of the 74% of the disabled people do not use assistive devices, which means they're not in a wheelchair, they don't have a cane. But then all our accessibility is built, assuming that people with disabilities are going to use wheelchairs and they're going to use canes, but they're not. And how are we going to address that? Right now, I don't see any plan in that direction. And I do want to work on something like that, where we combine technology and design and help with safe exiting for everybody, all disabilities included, all limitations included. And I think everybody should experience the buildings the same. Just because, you have anxiety or if you have memory issues, you shouldn't be experiencing the building differently. So that's something that I want to work on. And we did meet our local congressman, Harley Ruda, last week. I went and talked to him because, ADA is civil rights, and it does say it doesn't want to discriminate, but then if you're not even including all the disabilities, you're discriminating right there.
Yes, yeah.
So I talked to him about that, and I think buildings are not just social issues, they are social justice issues. And because everybody uses them, it is up to us and up to the law to make them accessible, as in truly accessible. So I just started working on that big research project of mine, and I do want to send my recommendations to ICC and the IBC and take it from there, form a committee, and really bring attention to this invisible disabilities issue. Because if everybody we know is going through something, is neurodivergent, neurodiverse, or whatever, why are we not doing anything about it? Who are these completely able-bodied people who don't have physical and mental health issues, and they're using the buildings, right? So,
I don't know.
yeah, that's something I really want to work on. And I do think that our current system is promoting ableism and completely ignoring invisible disabilities, disabilities in general, but invisible disabilities completely. And even in buildings, like, when you are in a fire or something like that, what happens? Like, able-bodied people get out. What about people with anxieties? They will need help, but no one is going to help them because physically they look okay. And what happened to people in wheelchairs? I read online that this person was told by the office that in case of a fire, they just need to go and wait in the staircase, which is 2-hour fire rated. And, you can't do that. It's so hard to just sit there and wait for help.
I'm surprised. Well, we went to a Padres game the other night, with my husband, who's now in a wheelchair. And I had an accessible van, that I rented. I had an accessible placard, and they had no accessible parking. So I dropped him, right? So it's like I dropped him off at the one with of course, my two boys there, right? So they were able to like take him in, but then I had to go park, and I asked, like, where's the accessible parking? And they had accessible parking. They said, oh no, you need a special permit now, or you need this now. So it's like I basically had to park in the convention center, which is several blocks away from the Padre, from the Petco, from Petco Park. And then I had, and I could park in accessible parking there, but then I had to come all the way out, in order to go. And if we hadn't had people there, if we wouldn't had people with us, we wouldn't have been able.
Yeah, you can't always have your boys with you helping. And there are a lot of people in a wheelchair who would like to drive themselves and experience this themselves. And it's so hard. And I think as architects, designers, it's up to us to come up with a solution here and really push for a legislation and, make it happen.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Meghana. See, anything else? Anything else you want to say?
Actually, nothing else. This is the project that I'm really stoked about right now. And if anybody wants to join me in my mission, support me anyway, they're welcome to email me, tweet, DM, or whatever.
Okay.
And I'll share more details. And yeah.
Okay.
Thanks so much for having me. It was a great experience.
Thank you. And I'll make sure that I put if you're okay with me putting all of your contact information, then I can put it in the blog too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks, Michelle.